Hi guys, and welcome back to Abridged by a Scot. Tolkien Abridged, the Silmarillion Abridged, here we go. I am Rabu, I am the titular Scot who will be abridging things today as always, and as always we will once again cover our mission statement for this series. Tolkien, wonderful but hard to understand. What else is hard to understand but wonderful? It's only the Scottish, so here we go. So last time we did a bit of it was more of a kind of filler, kind of double feature, where Tolkien was, explaining a bunch of shit about like the sun and the moon and all that kind of stuff, and men have appeared, but let me tell you, this time we're only covering one chapter, but it might as well be 2 chapters worth because so much fucking happens here. Here we go. So this is chapter 13 of the Quintus Silmarillion of the Return of the Noldor. We are so back, baby! Here we go! So the Noldor are back. So, we do a little bit of recapping. So we're back. Feanor's host, they've landed at Lamoth. Oh, he's in hot pursuit of Morgoth and the Silmarils, But it turns out that when Feanor, commits his big betrayal and burns the ships, as we covered before, when he fucks over Fingolfin and his people, it's not just them that see the burning, it's also the orcs and the pals of Morgoth who are nearby. So it's not entirely clear at this point whether Morgoth is like, when he gets this news, if he's scared of Feanor coming for him, but it becomes pretty quickly, it becomes apparent pretty quickly that he wants to fucking drive Feanor back into the sea. He wants to end this problem now. Anyway, so Feanor and his people, they make their way inland a bit to this region that's known as Heflin. And they settled in north of this lake, they fucking put the pegs down and whatever, blah, blah, okay, we'll set up camp. Oh, wait, no, you won't, because surprise, orc attack. Here we go. So the orcs, they come out these shadowy passes by the lake and shit, fucking clashing. Here we fucking go, boys. Camp isn't fortified and stuff yet. Here we go. It's the second battle of Beleriand, the battle under the stars, because the sun and the moon haven't risen yet. But this battle, right, it's pretty one way, because even though the orcs have the element of surprise, and even though they really, really outnumber the elves, oh fuck man, Feanor's people still have the literal light of God in their eyes, and they just fucking slaughter these orcs. They pile them high, they just absolutely fucking eviscerate them with no real issues. These are the fucking Noldor in their prime against primordial orcs. Poor little bastards. They chased them back towards Angband, and these, you may remember from the first Battle of Beleriand, the previous chapter. So there were these orcs that had gone south, they'd harassed Círdan's people, they chased him to the coast and whatever. They kind of go, oh, what's going on back up there? Oh, we'll do a little surprise attack, here we fucking go, boys. So they try and, get Feanor's people. No. So one of Feanor's sons, Celegorm, he gets word about these orcs coming back north. This group of orcs as well, just slaughtered. Not to a man, to an orc. You know what I mean? Of all these orcs basically that have left in these first 2 battles of Beleriand, 12 orcs come back out of thousands that have gone out. Just between Feanor, between his son Celegorm, and between Thingol running in, just fucking devastation. The good guys firmly winning, So as it stands, that's bad news for Morgoth, But he's actually going to have a bit of good news soon. Because during these battles, so when they're chasing these orcs back to Angband, Feanor, fiery sod that he is bloodlusted. He is oh my god, this is all going so well. I've managed to get away from Valinor. We took the ships and stuff. We came across. We've slaughtered all these orcs. I'm going to have the Silmarils back in my hand by supper time. Here we go. He doesn't have any idea about what Angband is, what its defenses are, how many orcs there are or anything. Probably wouldn't have stopped him anyway. He is I am going to get my vengeance this day. And he pushes on, and he pushes on, and he pushes on, and he's still chasing these orcs into unknown territory. And it gets to the point where it's him and 4 other guys left. And they're pursuing, just going after them. And then the forces of Morgoth, who they've been chasing, kind of realise, wait, it's 4 of them. Why are we running away? And they turn around and they, they give battle. Also, they're pretty near Angband at this point, and as Ungoliant found out in a previous chapter, when you get within, sight or sound of Angband, there's a chance that you could wake something up. And out come the Balrogs. Loads of them. You guys probably familiar with the Balrog Durin's Bane, from the Lord of the Rings movies. Imagine a bunch of these guys. So they encircle Fëanor and his pals, they fight on, they fight long and hard. It's only Fëanor left. He's wounded, he's burned, he's still fighting. Up steps Gothmog, the Lord of Balrogs, like a fucking super Balrog. Strikes Fëanor down. And that would have been the end. But his sons are finally arrive after this long ass fucking battle. And they carry Fëanor away. And they're trying, gonna try and, get him healed and whatever. They're going through the mountains, and Fëanor goes, "No, lads, stop, come on, put me down, it's game over. It's game over." So he's lying there, he looks out, sees Angband, sees Fangorhydrun, the mountains, have been raised, and Fëanor realises, after all this stuff that he's done, after he's literally chased a god across a continent, he realises there's no way we can ever win. There's no way any Noldor, any elf could possibly win this fight. So you'd think, yeah, okay, so he'll probably realise this and he'll tell his sons, cool, I've led you into this and stuff, but, make the best of it and blah, blah, blah. Does he fuck? He is Fëanor till the fucking end. So he curses Morgoth 3 times and he tells his sons, better keep to your oath. Even though he's just realised that they can't win, that they can't possibly win. And he dies. He fucking dies. His sons don't even get to bury him because, as per his usual gimmick, he's so fiery in heart and soul that he gets like an auto-cremation. His body just disappears in flame. So yeah, Fëanor, we're not even 100 pages into the Quent of Silmarillion, and he's dead. We are exactly 25 pages on since he made his oath and made his sons swear the oath and said no matter fucking what, we're going to take back the Silmarils no matter who has them, whether they be good or evil, whether they be, god or elf or man, blah, blah, blah. 25 pages later, and this guy who started all of this is fucking dead and didn't even repent. He just went, better keep going, boys. Most of those 25 pages weren't even about Fëanor. Talk about falling at the first hurdle, man. Fuck me. What a guy. But yeah, so there we have it. One of the most important characters, one of the most vital characters in this tale has passed on and left everybody else to handle the fucking shit. He literally made all these elves leave literal paradise and then he died. Anyway, so moving on. So Fëanor's people there, they meet some of the Grey Elves. So some of Thingol's people from down south, they have some dialectual issues and stuff, we speak slightly different Elvish and whatever, blah blah and whatever, da da. But basically they go back to Thingol and they kind of, everybody's pretty stoked about all the stuff that the Noldor have generally done, apart from obviously Fëanor's death and whatnot. But it's time for, who we've not heard from in a little bit? Morgoth himself. So it's time for him to try and pull another little sneaky. So within an hour of Fëanor's death, Morgoth sends some ambassadors. He sends, like the mouth of Sauron type characters. Clearly want to spring a trap. Basically sends them to the sons of Fëanor going, oh, come and negotiate. Oh, I'm so weak. Oh, imagine like Palpatine, Revenge of the Sith, oh, no, please don't kill me, blah, blah. He's like, just pull little Morgoth. Oh, you've got me trapped. Oh, I'll even give you a Silmaril. Maedhros is now in charge. He's the eldest son. And he's like, you know what? I know this is a trap. I'm going to spring the trap. See, the thing is, I'm going to turn up to the negotiations and I'm going to take way more elves than he expects. And he does that, but sadly for him, Morgoth has the exact same idea and goes, I know that he knows that it's a trap, and I know that he knows that he'll need to bring more people, but I know that he'll bring X more people, but I'll bring even more people. So yeah, Maedhros turns up to this like ceasefire. All his people get killed. Maedhros gets taken prisoner. So like, this is just the Sons of Fëanor, or just the family of Fëanor in general, just certainly not batting 1,000 at this point. Anyway, so the other Sons of Fëanor run away, and they fortify their camp and stuff and whatever, and basically get this ultimatum from Morgoth, and he's like, look, see your brother that I took? He ain't going fucking nowhere unless you guys either piss off back to Valinor, or you just go somewhere to the south where like you just never bother me again. Like that's my terms. But the thing is, the Sons of Fëanor obviously know that, one, they can't, because they literally swore a blood oath. So they can't, and literally their father's like dying words were, keep to your oath. And also, Morgoth is a lying bastard, so that there's no way that he's actually gonna, stick to any of this anyway. So they're at an impasse, and Morgoth decides, you know what, I know what to do. I can't kill this guy because he's my hostage. So he takes him off to one of the like sheer walls of the mountains of Fangorridrim, and he just lashes him to the side of the mountain. So poor Maedhros is held there by his right wrist with a band of steel locked into the rock, and he's just hanging there. Yeah, fucking lovely, huh? But yeah, so boom, we're fast forwarding slightly. Fingolfin is here. Boom, the moon is rose. Here we go. He marches into Middle-earth, and he's got his silver trumpets and shit. Fucking do 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 do. Here comes Fingolfin to save the day. Do, 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 do. They march all the way up to the doors of Angband and bang on it and go, fucking come out, you big shifty bastard. But they make such a noise that Maedhros, who's already up there, hung by his wrist, help me, please, guys, I'm up here now. They literally can't hear him because they're too busy just being badass and banging on the door. So anyway, at this point, Fingolfin's like, right. Like, Fingolfin's got a bit of a cooler head than Fëanor. Like, literally everybody has a cooler head than Fëanor. But he's kind of analysed this, and he's like, right, okay, we can't take Angband like this. We'll go back, we'll make camp, let our people grow strong and stuff, like, God knows what else, Morgoth has in mind. So they head back to the lake where the sons and people of Fëanor had been camped, and basically all shit it and run away. They relocate to the south. Fingolfin's people settle down, and they're like, they are still not fucking happy. Like, bear in mind, they were forced to basically walk through, like, the Arctic, and so many elves died and stuff because they got fucked over by the Sons of Fëanor. So they ain't happy. And all the guys on the south side, so Fëanor's people, they're like, oh man, like, I wish we could repent and stuff and make better. But they're just too ashamed. They're just too like, oh no, like, just can't face the music. Look, dearie me. So since this is going so badly, who would see this opportunity but Morgoth himself? And he's like, oh, here we go. They fucking hate each other. Here we go. So he sends out all these fill vapors and smoke and stuff from like these fucking chimneys in Fangorridrim. Travels west, and there's just like this pall, this fucking stink, this darkness just lays down on the area. And everybody's a bit miserable. Everybody's just a bit like, the whole thing's knackered, isn't it? Well, one elf doesn't. Fingolfin's son Fingon, like, just almost as much of a goat as his dad. Fingo, he decides, you know what, time to make the ballsiest move of this entire saga. Him and Maedhros, they used to be like fucking absolute best buds before, all the fucking carnage and betrayal and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, like, I'm gonna make this right. I'm gonna bring everybody back together and we're gonna fucking get this guy. So under the cover of darkness, that Morgoth himself made, self-fulfilling prophecy, Fingon basically goes up to Angband, scales it, like scales the mountains of Fangorridrim. He's looking for like a way in because he wants to rescue Maedhros. And it's not there, whatever. Basically can't find a way in, realises that he's not going to be able to save Maedhros, and decides instead to just give Morgoth a big middle finger while he's there, just a big old fuck you. He whips out a harp. He literally travelled, he scaled a mountain with his harp on his back, and he sings this like devastatingly beautiful elvish ballad on Morgoth's doorstep, and just absolute aura farming here. What was originally meant to be a petulant fuck you actually works out pretty well because it alerts Maedhros to Fingon's presence. So Maedhros can go like, Fingon, is that you? I remember that song. So Fingon, he climbs up a bit higher, and it's kind of a little bit, Maedros is on this, like, absolutely just this sheer wall. There's no way for it to get to him. He tries, like this and that and whatever, and basically Maedros is like, look, I'm gonna level you, Fingon. Just fucking shoot me. Just put me out of my fucking misery. There's no way out of this. Like, please just, like, euthanize me, please. And Fingon's kind of like, okay, there's not really any other way to do this. I hate seeing you like this. Notches his bow. He's got his bow as well as his harp. And he prays to Manwë. He's like, oh, please don't let me, like, accidentally miss it. Just let this arrow, go true. Boom! Manwë hears the prayer. Boom! Lord of Eagles Sporindor turns up. One of Manwë's boys. Because again, like, Manwë doesn't want the Noldor to, like, suffer in exile. Like, he still wants to help them as much as possible. Because he's a good lad. So Lord Eagles turns up. Boofed. Fingon jumps on his back. Hovers up next to Maedros. They're like, oh, they're trying to get the iron cuff off. Like, how can we fucking whatever? Realise there's no way. Maedros is like, look, please just kill me. This is so uncomfortable. This is fucking horrible. And Fingon goes, I've actually got another idea. And cuts off Maedros' hand. And they fly away. So Maedros is saved. The just absolute balls on Fingon, just like, honestly, a pair of absolute grapefruits between his legs. So Maedros, after this, like, he recovers from his wounds quickly and basically goes, you know what? I'm going to be fucking better than I was before. And he trains with his left hand, with his sword. He's going to be even better, more efficient. He's going to be ready for the wars against Morgoth. Fingon, he wins great renown for being, again, having massive grapefruits, for being a total G. And, just generally just being an all-round good bloke. This kind of follows the ice and stuff as well. Little Hellcrack's pun there. Between, like, the sons of Fëanor and Fingolfin and stuff. Well, kind of. Maedros decides, like, he goes to Fingolfin and he begs forgiveness. He's like, look, I didn't want to fuck you over by burning the ships and stuff. I didn't want you to go on, like, an Arctic expedition. You can be the High King. Like, I give it up. Like, I give up all rights to it. You are now, like, Fingolfin accepts this, obviously. However, the other sons of Fëanor really, really, really not fucking happy, because Maedros, without, consulting them, has just given away their birthright. Not the best, in their eyes. And that may cause some issues down the line. So, how about that? But anyway, so now, things are better. The Noldor are like, cool, right, what we'll do is we'll try and encircle Angband. We'll send out raiders to, like, the kingdoms and stuff that are already here. We'll try and get everybody on our side. So Thingol, he's down in Doriath. He's in his cool pad and stuff, Menegroth, there's the girdle and stuff is set up. He's not thrilled about all these fucking immigration into it. Like, Thingol's a Brexiter, apparently. And he's basically like, I'm actually not so hot on all these, like, Western princes coming to Beleriand. I've kind of been, like, the big kahuna, big kahuna here this whole time. Not really for me, not really thrilled about this. I'm kind of the main man here. So he refuses to take down the Girdle of Melian, and the only Noldor that he'll let into his kingdom are those of Finarfin's house. So if you remember, Finarfin is Fingolfin's brother, Fëanor's half-brother. So like, because of the way it works out, they are his nieces and nephews. So basically, they're allowed in, nobody else is. So the first one to come is Finarfin's son, Angrod. So he comes in, he tells Thingol about everything that's been happening. Well, we did this and we did that, and Maedros was up there, and blah, blah, whatever. Angrod's a bit of a pure-hearted lad. And he just thinks, like, oh, it's all water under the bridge, and he doesn't bother mentioning the whole, like, the kinslaying thing, like the elves killing elves at, Aqualond, and, when Fëanor and Fingolfin's people murdered a bunch of Thingol's relatives. He just doesn't mention any of that, so that's definitely not going to come back in a bad way at a later date. Definitely not. So as it stands, Fingol's like, yeah, cool, like, you guys can settle here, that's all good. You can sit on, like, Hiflum and Dorthonion and East of Doriath, like, that's all wild, that's all good. Like, I don't want my people, like, I don't want my places to be overpopulated, I don't want you to kick my people out. But also, like, mark my words, I'm still the king of Beleriand, I am still the big kahuna, I am still the big cheese. And nobody is coming to my party pad apart from my guests or someone who's in great need of my services. So, all the lads, they gather in Hiflum and they're like, that guy's actually kind of a dick. Like, I don't think he really had to put it like that. Why did he say that he was still the king of Beleriand so many times? And Maedhros kind of goes, like, that's all very good, but like, this bro's just posturing. Bro's like just absolutely bluffing. Like, he's given his lands that he doesn't control, that he doesn't have any say over. Like, he's just, it's all just a lot of like political nonsense, essentially. He's like, but he's really lucky that it's us that are here and not a bunch of fucking orcs, because I don't know if he could handle the heat. But if he wanted the smoke, you know. He says this kind of jokingly. Caranthir, who's one of his brothers, who's the harshest of the sons of Fëanor, yeah, I know, the harshest of them, he's not happy with the fact that it's been Finarfin's sons who have like been like their mediators and their spokespeople and stuff to deal with, as he says, this dark elf in his caves. Oh dear. Not great PR here. But basically he says to the sons of Finarfin as well, like, I don't know if you guys remember, but you're actually Noldor first, you're actually with us first. I know that like your mum's some fucking like, you know, seashell dwelling, you know, like elf bitch or whatever, but yeah, like, remember, you're with us. Funnily enough, Angrod doesn't really take to this very well. He gets pissed off, he leaves. Maedhros takes Caranthir and says, you fucking serious? Like, people would fucking hate us as like, where you, oh god, stand over there, just not another word, fuck me. And he realises, as much of the rest of the Noldor, that the Sons of Fëanor are just a ticking time bomb. Like, they're gonna do some fucking nonsensical shit again and piss everybody off. And the biggest threat to the Sons of Fëanor are the Sons of Fëanor themselves. So Maedhros is like, cool, I'm going to do a big brain play. I'm going to go 4,000 IQ, 5D chess here. So he takes all his brothers, he goes out to the east, and he founds a place called the March of Maedhros. So basically, this keeps all his brothers away from everybody else. And also it means that like he sets himself like as close to Angband as realistically possible, so that he can be the first line of defence. This repays like his debt to all the other elves and stuff like Fingolfin and Fingon, and also it keeps the fucking PR nightmares that are his brothers out of the way, you know, so that's pretty good. Speaking of PR nightmares, so Caranthir himself, he goes even a little bit even further east, because even amongst his brothers, he's not particularly well liked. And he reaches the Blue Mountains, and who are the Blue Mountains? The dwarves. And basically the dwarves had stopped there, like, they'd been doing like trade stuff into Beleriand for a while, and then Morgoth and the Noldor came back and they're like, whoa, don't really want any of this, we're just going to hang out on the side of the Blue Mountains, this is all good, not for us. But now that they've met Caranthir and it's all kind of calmed down a bit, they're like, oh, okay. So it's pretty clear immediately that they don't actually like each other. Caranthir does not like the dwarves. He thinks they're like ugly little stunted people. They think he's a like stuck up arsehole elf prince. But it's like a matter of convenience, and essentially they're like, cool, like this can be like our first part of our trade route. Caranthir being like the first guy there, he becomes so rich. Caranthir is basically like, he's the Donald Trump of the Silmarillion. You know what I mean? He's just a bit of a bottom feeder. And yeah, he's going to become so fucking rich because he gets the first pick of all the cool dwarven shit that comes out of the Blue Mountains. And that's going to be relevant later. But anyway, 20 years on from the rising of the sun, Fingolfin holds this fucking massive feast, and everybody who is anybody is invited. Fingolfin's people are there, the Sons of Fëanor are there, the Grey Elves are there, the Green Elves are there. There's even two masters from Doriath, these boys, Mablung and Daeron. They're going to become important later. So everybody has a great time, and they say many oaths and stuff. You know, they're taking each other's counsel. Grey Elvish at this point is kind of like the de facto language because the Noldor picked that up really quickly. But the Grey Elves aren't really so hot on like, you know, the Noldor's language kind of thing. But yeah, at this point everybody's like, you know what? Fëanor might have died almost immediately, but you know what? See his whole thing about like coming to Middle Earth and founding like super elvish kingdoms. Like, actually, you know what? He might have actually been spot on. Like, maybe the ends justified the means here, but they're also still very aware that like Morgoth is going to be back at some point. There is a shadow in the north, and it is going to, you know, cover them eventually. So 30 years on from this, Turgon, so that's Fingolfin's other son, and Finrod, who's one of Finarfin's son, great pals. They go on a wee camping trip. They fall asleep next to a river. Ulmo, the watery wanderer, the Poseidon of this universe, he sends them these you know, prophetic dreams and stuff. They both wake up, they both think they're the only one who's had the dream. But it's kind of this ominous warning of like, you should probably build some kind of stronghold because Morgoth's going to be back one day, and you better be fucking prepared. So for a while, Finrod himself, he's hanging out with Thingol. He's in Menegroth. He's in this fucking awesome fucking underground party pad, kind of, Khazad-dûm style thing. Galadriel's sister's there as well. Finrod's like, God damn, this is the kind of place for me. Like, I'd love to have a super secret bunker of my own. Thinking about the dream that Ulmo sent him. He tells Thingol about this, and Thingol's like, I know just the fucking place for you. I'll give you some guides. Go and check out this gorge over the River Narog. There's some great caves there. Just go and have a look. See what you think. You know what I mean? Like, he's got, right move or whatever up. Finrod's like, that's absolutely right. Goes along, checks out the caves in Narog. This is fucking class. This is exactly what I needed. This is magic. Gets the dwarves and the Blue Mountains in. Here we go. They create this wonderful, again, kind of dwarven style mansion, palace. Finrod actually bought like a whole bunch of like gems and valuables and stuff from Tyrion, like the city in Valinor, so it's easy for him to pay them. And this place will be called Nargothrond. Again, also very important, just we can just kind of set in the scene here of like these, different settlements and stuff that are going to be created. The dwarves also create this like super cool enchanted necklace for him. It's called the Noglamir. Going to be super important later, so remember that. It's just this super fucking awesome looking necklace. The dwarves also fashion him like this fancy nickname, Felagund, which means Hewer of Caves. And until his dying date, how we've all got a friend who always gets full name, like he's never just John, he's John Smith. The rest of his life, Finrod Felagund is how he will be called. He will never just be Finrod anymore. He will always be Finrod Felagund. Around this time as well, as mentioned, Galadriel is Finrod Felagund's sister. She just hangs out in Doriath. She's not really so cool on the whole like underground cave thing. Also, she's kind of got the hots for one of Thingol's relatives, this guy Celeborn. And also she's like, there's like a Maiar sorceress here. I can kind of totally learn loads of cool shit from her. So she's just hanging out there. Going to the other half of the adventure buddies. So Turgon, he also wants to make his own super secret clubhouse. But he can't really, he's thinking of like Tyrion and Valinor and how it's this city on the hill, and he's like, God, I just want something like that. That would be absolutely brilliant. So a year passes, and then Ulmo appears to him again and goes, you maybe have to be a little bit more explicit here. If you go down to the Vale of City and there's like this path in the mountains, just have a look, see what you think. So he goes down there, goes through the mountains. There's this big beautiful vale, the Vale of Tumladen. It's got this beautiful ring of stone and stuff in the centre, and he's like, this is the place. Doesn't tell anybody else about it just now, but he basically goes home, starts drawing at the blueprints, gonna have my own secret city. Just like Tyrion back home, just like Mum used to make. Now this has all been getting a bit wholesome, I know. Well, you know what's not so wholesome? Boom! Morgoth, he's back, here we go! He'd sent out spies and stuff, his spies had told him, yeah, like, these elves aren't actually really that bothered with war, they're just kinda like fucking about and making houses and tree houses and clubhouses and shit, like, yeah, it's probably time, so boom! Orcs pour out the Angband, and then the elves see them. So the orcs, they go southwest, they go southeast. Thingolfin and Maedhros, they have not been sleeping. They are very much ready for war. They smash the orcs from west, they smash them from the east, absolutely fucking rout them. Chase them back to Angband. This is the third great battle in the Wars of Beleriand, and funnily enough, as the elves would call it, it is the glorious battle. Just an absolute, like, perfect victory for the good guys. No damage taken, like, barely any casualties, essentially. But they kind of take this as a warning. They're like, okay, like, we kind of don't want to be, we could have been caught, we weren't, but we could have been caught with our trousers down this time. You know what we need to do? It's time for a siege. So they encircle Angband as much as they can, and this is going to be the siege of Angband. This is going to last for about 400 years from now, essentially. But they kind of realise that because of the mountains and stuff, because how strong the defense are, they can never really take Angband. They can never, like, encircle it entirely. So, like, they're at a bit of an impasse. This is the best they can kind of do. But Morgoth obviously kind of sees the opportunity here and is like, okay, so he's got like a back door in the north around the other side, so he can still like send out spies and stuff. And he sends them out, and they can still go and he's basically like, look, see if you see any unattended elves, bring them back to me because I need some information. I need some information. So they bring these elves back, he interrogates them, Guantanamo obeys them, and he's like, okay, I see the lay of the land. These elves, the only thing that they hate nearly as much as me is each other. There is a lot of scope to divide and conquer. Let's see what we can do. So just 100 years later, again, he's like, maybe it's time, maybe I can, sends a bunch of orcs out the back door. They go out to the west, they go out to the south. He's going to try and catch Fingolfin unawares. Catch Fingolfin. Fingoten with his trousers down. Absolutely fucking not. Fingon, his people spot them again. Devastation, absolutely routed. This one isn't even counted in the Great Wars of Beleriand because there's barely, there's not really that many orcs, and also it's barely even a skirmish, they just get absolutely fucking destroyed again. Morgoth's tearing his hair out fuck me. What have I got to do? Back to the drawing board. He basically realises at this point, okay, I've got to change this up. It turns out throwing loads of orcs at these guys actually isn't that great a strategy. I need to come up with something different. Another 100 years go on. You ever heard of dragons before? Well, the elves hadn't, but they have now. Boom! Glaurung, father of dragons, he bursts out of Angband and he fucks shit up. He wipes out a bunch of elves. He basically shits all over the field outside Angband just because, why not? But he's still a bit half-cooked. He's still quite a young dragon, Fingon, again, Fingoten. He and his boys, they ride up, fucking pepper and arrows. Glaurung, being 4 years old or whatever he actually is, can't handle this, runs away back to Angband. And the elves just kind of pat themselves on the back, hey, we did it. They don't really realise just how big a deal this is going to be, how big a deal dragons are going to be. Morgoth, again, though, is tearing his hair out, fuck me, why did you go out there? I locked the door and why would you? Oh, Glaurung, I swear to burst it. Yeah. So he's not happy, as he is never fucking happy. But, this is, again, just a little ominous warning, because, it's going to be a big deal later on. But this is essentially the last big action of the chapter. This is where we kind of leave it, because now we're going to have peacetime. For years and years, the Noldor and the Grey Elves are going to intermingle, they're going to essentially become one people, and it's going to be peacetime, and nothing bad is ever going to happen to anyone again, probably. No, of course, bad things are going to happen, Because again, there's literally a dark god in his dark fortress who just sent out a massive fucking dragon. Yeah, bad times are coming. So that's the end of this chapter. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We obviously covered a lot. There was a lot in this chapter of The Return of the Noldor, all the way from, one of the main characters fucking dying almost immediately and coming all the way through to the first ever dragon in the story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it. If you have any questions and stuff, please drop some comments, and as usual, any follows, likes, subscribes, etc. on Spotify, YouTube, much appreciated. I love doing this podcast, love the support that everybody's given. So thank you very much. Next time, I hope you'll join me, because we will be covering chapter 14 of Beleriand and its realms. We've got a lot of elves in Beleriand now. We've got a lot of kingdoms. It's time to maybe put them under the microscope a little bit and see what you guys think of them. So I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.